Hello YouTube, Tim here, and I wanted to show you not only some of the latest progress and things that I've been doing, but also show you some of the techniques that I have for doing things. And I've done this in the past where I've showed you the siyahs that I've made, and I've described how I finished them, but I thought now I can actually go over and demonstrate some of the processes that I use to shape them finally. For starters, in this case, I had used just some regular kiwi color shine, just plain, the brown colored shoe polish that you can find pretty much everywhere. I didn't bother doing the tips because, well, they're not going to be seen here, but I did do the Bosch. This section is the Bosch, this is the Kassan, or at least this will be the Kassan, and I just did enough so that it'll cover anything that could possibly be seen from the outside. In the future, I have an idea of making this area a little bit thicker with the intent of shaving away more PVC on either the side or on the top, one way or another, trying to basically add more wood, making the siyahs longer, replacing as much PVC as I can to enhance performance. But that's for another day. Right now, what we've got, these lovely little siyahs that I've made, and I stained them, like I said, then I sanded them and I burnished them a little bit and sanded them a little further with some steel wool. I find that both sands and burnishes a touch. But I wanted to show you how I actually go about doing some of the final finishing, the final burnishing. And I have this old ceramic mug. It's great, it's just stoneware, it's fine. And it has these nice round edges. So I can go ahead and hold them like this. By the way, here, okay, let's see. If you can see that, yeah, you see how it's shiny right there where I just started. I'm compressing the wood down, especially after you apply the shoe polish. It's going to raise the grain. Some of the liquid that gets into the wood is just going to cause it to expand a little bit. Now we will pack it down. So it's important to apply the shoe polish before you burnish, otherwise you're wasting your time. Okay, so now you saw what happens. Let's just go ahead and do a little bit more. It's nice if you can put something under it like this, so that when you inevitably slip off the edge, you don't crack your cup, you might shatter it, you might smash your finger, lots of bad things. So I suggest doing that. So I'm pushing down firmly from the back, trying not to push down here where it's most likely to cause a break. Basically, downward pressure. See, it just slipped off, but because I had that thing there, I'm switching to the back side of it. Just try and be nice and even. You're applying pressure evenly everywhere. All this friction and pressure is forcing the grain down, packing it in nice and tight. I do this on the arrows that I do too. Nick suggested that, and I really like the technique. Not only do you get a smaller diameter for your arrows, but you also pack them in, I think, make them a little bit smoother, less likely to splinter, it seems. So it's a good technique. So right now I've finished about half of the Bosch, really. I haven't done the front here, but as soon as I get the front done, then I'll show you what we've accomplished. I mean, it's not super dramatic. You're not going to be totally shocked, especially since I hope you knew this was coming. Okay, so here's how it started. This is the basically unburnished side. It just feels rough, looks very matte. Now over here, this is the burnished side. This is beautiful. It's smooth, except for right here. I got to work on that, but most of this area, from here to there, is beautifully burnished and just smooth, shiny. It looks good, it feels good, and this is how you want it to be. There you go. So just like that. I'll get the back. Focus on getting areas that I missed before. Now let's get the other side. I don't bother burnishing the Kassan because, well, one, I want the grain to be a little bit more irregular. I think that'll improve adhesion of the glue. So when I use the hot melt glue after I form the the outer parts of the limbs and insert it, I think it'll adhere a little bit better. I could be mistaken, but that seems reasonable to assume, and I have no reason to believe anything other than that. Smooth surfaces tend to be, harder to glue and adhere to, so sounds reasonable. So there you go. I mean, that's really just about it. I'm going to go over it a little bit more, and you will notice that after a while it will lose some of its luster and shine. Part of that is due to, I'm sure, rebound. The wood will expand and relax a little bit again. And part of it is just due to the fact that I rub it down with oil after I burnish them. I'll show you that too. So after I rub it with oil, alright, I'm back. My camera actually ran out of storage space. I had to delete a whole bunch of videos. You'd be surprised. I have to do that about once a week. So let me just finish this up. We're very close to having one completely finished burnished siyah. That's great. Looks nice. Just the top part here's a little hard to do. So we'll get that. Nice. Okay. The whole thing feels good. Look at all that shine. Tell me that's not pretty. Okay. Now, not bad, but it's just not shiny. You could go ahead and use polyurethane. I've done that before too, but I really like how simple this is, how nice it makes it look. Instead of shoe polish, very frequently I'll use coffee. I have plenty of coffee grounds on hand, and all you have to do, you can either make the coffee and then brush a very thick concentrated coffee onto the wood, or you can just rub it on. That works really well too, the grounds that is. I tend to prefer this, the shoe polish, since it's a little bit quicker. I find using the coffee is wonderful, produces an excellent color, but it takes forever. It takes a lot of applications to get the darkness that I'm looking for. With poplar, with oak, it's a little bit easier maybe. It seems like oak likes the coffee a touch more, and it develops this incredible golden, just rich golden brown color. I love it. So on oak, I definitely prefer the coffee to the shoe polish. On poplar, probably the opposite. You can develop your own preferences, of course, and I've never used black shoe polish on the wood, although that would probably also look pretty cool depending on the effect you were going for. So as you're doing this, you might feel the edge of the cup where it's touching, especially in one small area. It builds up quite a bit of heat. That's what's helping you. Hot wood, you can bend, you can shape, you can do a lot of things. So that's what we're doing at a very micro scale. We're just heating the wood and packing those little fibers as tightly as we can near the surface. Awesome. So there again, almost done. Just let me get the tip here, the very tip of the Bosch. And you'll just feel around. You'll feel areas that you've missed, and then you can go back and hit them with the edge and there. You'll also see if it's not very shiny. You can see right there. There's an area that I missed. So just go in and do it again. Cool. Nice. Beautiful. Shiny. I like it. Now, the last part of this. One of my friends, now I really think you'd be better off using walnut oil at the very least, or some drying oils like tung oil, boiled linseed oil. One of my friends, nevertheless, suggested using olive oil. He liked it, and it seems to be fine. Really fine with oak. With poplar, again, the wood just seems more dense and doesn't soak it up quite as much. It's still okay. I don't think it's the best oil to use, but it does give a nice shine. It smells nice and so on. So this is actually my favorite oil. I like cooking with it. It tastes wonderful. There's a Alice Medrich makes a little cake, chocolate and olive oil, and I tell you, that is killer taste. It's wonderful, really good. Okay, so just liberally apply. It'll soak in. There you go. Try not to make too much of a mess. And there we go. That's really it. Just let that soak in. In probably under an hour, it'll be almost dry to the touch, is my guess. And at that point, you're ready. I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and force these into the ends of the bow that I've been preparing. And that's really it. It looks nice. They're functional. They're pretty. The only thing that I want to do now, beyond what I've done already, is mold one of them. Use some silicone mold and maybe start turning out acrylic. That time I was interrupted by a call, but wow, it was like Grand Central here. Anyway, they'll dry up. They'll be great to use. I want to mold them with silicone and start turning out acrylic ones, which will be heavier, but much faster to make, and they'll still look pretty good. So that's something to look forward to in the future. For now, I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for following along. Subscribe this if you like. And if you like crafting and PVC stuff in general, archery of any kind, come on and join us down in the PVC archery and crafting community on Google+. It's wonderful. We are 100 people strong now and growing. We have just so many people doing so many cool things, sharing cool knowledge, and I've learned a lot there, and I bet everybody else would too. So thanks for watching. See you again next time.